I gave up on the Switch a while ago now. The Joy-Cons were just too small and I felt like I was playing with a toy. But I wanted to give this thing one last chance before I just buy a Switch 2. NYXI have created the Hyperstation 2, a Joy-Con upgrade which is meant to improve comfort and actually make the Switch feel like a beast. So if comfort's the thing that's holding you back from enjoying your Switch, this might be worth a look.
Of course we'll have a look.
However, it probably won't solve all your problems. As soon as I started using it regularly, the first thing I noticed was how much bigger it made the Switch feel overall. There's simply more room for your hands, more space to stretch your fingers, and I'll be honest, it's simply more comfortable than the stock Switch setup. But the funny thing is, most third-party Joy-Cons improve comfort, but this one legitimately improved my gaming experience, which goes beyond just being bigger. And I noticed this in 3 key ways. First up is rear triggers. They're one of those features you don't think you need until you start using it. They're generally useful in games where you don't want to take your fingers off the controller, and in general, it just improves the ease of gaming. You can map the rear paddle by pressing specific buttons on the controller, as well as using a companion app, though I will say that companion app does need a bit of love. However, once you get it to work, it does everything it's meant to do. The next thing that really stood out was the mechanical micro switches, which make every button press feel sharp and responsive. Plus, it does sound really nice. And while on the topic of controls, this uses Hall effect technology, meaning it greatly reduces the chances of stick drift occurring. And that's a big deal considering my original joysticks developed stick drift within 6 months. Trust me, I was so pissed. Visually, I actually like what they've done here. The RGB adds a bit of personality without feeling overbearing, and it doesn't feel like it's trying too hard to grab attention. More importantly, I haven't noticed any meaningful difference in the rate my Switch dies, so it's not really draining a noticeable amount of battery life to keep the lights looking cool. They've also added magnetic faceplates, which makes customization quick and easy, if that's something you do care for. So all of those things are great, but there is some glaring issues. The first one being controller wobble. Yes, the original Joy-Cons do have controller wobble as well. However, this is a bit more major. And although this isn't a crazy issue to think about, over the long term, this can cause significant wear and tear for your system, causing big problems in the future. Also, using the Joy-Cons horizontally just isn't great. And in my opinion, they're not comfortable. So whenever I plan to play with multiple people, I just end up bringing the original Joy-Cons. The final issue to be aware of is a kind of obvious one. It's bigger. So whatever case you had before, it won't fit in there. And I had the mistake of just throwing it in my bag and I ended up with scratches on my screen. So you will probably need to fork out on a gaming pouch or something like that if you want to avoid scratches like I haven't. Overall, for £50, these are some solid joysticks, and although the size does bring a few compromises, it does what it needs to do really well, and I would actually recommend them. If you do want to see a couple other Nintendo Switch controller reviews, check these ones out. Either way, like, subscribe, support the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.